on the show.
Nice.
So that's
hang
good.
on. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the American Sports Connection. I'm your host, the one and only Joey Railroads. If you follow my Twitter, then you'll know who my next guest is because I said a couple weeks ago you'd be seeing a lot of this guy coming up. Welcome back, everybody. CZW's resident jack of all trades, Mr. Emil J. Emil, how are you, sir?
I'm doing very good. I'm very excited. I'm on a mass retweeting spree right now, trying to get the word out of things that's going on. But yeah, today is a big day. The first ever Dojo Wars Supershow. I'm excited. I just got some breaking news that I'll be ready to announce when we get to the card lineup and everything like that. So, this is going to be a good time. And tonight's event just got a whole lot better. So, unfortunately, it was due to a situation involving an injury and whatnot. We'll get into that a little bit later too. But things are looking good. I believe I have the card finalized and ready to go.
Well, that's exciting because, correct me if I'm wrong, this is the first big event like this you guys have had at the dojo.
Yeah, historically in the past, we've done the mega events, which we had two mega events at the Flyer Skate Zone on the afternoon of Cage of Death in 2016 and 2015. And in March of last year, we had another mega event at the Woodbury Heights Community Center. But this is going to be a little bit different. Now we're reserving the name Mega Event to be for the afternoon of Cage of Death only.
Okay.
Now with the super shows, this is going to be like as monthly as we can, hopefully, fingers crossed, a monthly Friday event at the dojo. It's going to be, a little bit ramped up in terms of production. We're going to have music. We're going to have, just things like that. And we're going to have some marquee matches take place on these Friday night events, which do cost $10 instead of the usual $5 on a Wednesday. Because we're just trying to garner some additional interest, and we're trying to take this additional income and put it back into the program. The weekly events, that helps us pay for the rent. But, these super shows, they're going to help us pay for things that we need on the production side, things to spruce up the dojo, technology, merchandising, to fund merchandising, that kind of stuff. You might say, why not just use the CZW budget for that? Well, that would be a great thing to do, but a lot of it is we want to be as DIY as we possibly can at Dojo Wars. We want to, kind of get there. We want to get there. Dojo Wars.
I know, like, you kind of want to be your own entity in a sense.
Right. So, we're just trying this thing out, and hopefully we get the same amount or, even more support than we already do, because, I'm not trying to pull the wool over anybody's eyes. I'm not trying to work anybody here. The thing is, there's things that we need to up the production values, make the videos on YouTube look better, make the dojo look better. just all these different things, and maybe be able to have some shirts or hats or whatever. But we need to have the capital to pay for that kind of stuff. So, hopefully, we can do that through this Super Show model. And, I'm doing my best to provide the best possible bang for your buck, which is what I think I've been doing on a consistent basis.
Absolutely.
Yeah, quite honestly, I think I've been giving away, shows that people would pay, $20-$25 to go to. And, we've only been charging $5 this whole time. So, the quality is not going to be lessened. I'm going to do my best to make sure it's, at or exceeding the quality that you already expect from Dojo Wars. So, it's just an exciting time because this is a big step forward for us. This is the next step in the logical progression of Dojo Wars becoming even more of its own entity, as you said.
Yeah. Well, what I was going to say is I don't know very many places at all that you could go somewhere for, $10 on a Friday night and have, be entertained for several hours.
Right, and especially where I live, right outside of Atlantic City, on this weekend, Memorial Day weekend, everything, all the prices for everything are getting jacked up. So usually things that would cost you $20 to get into, now it's going to cost you $30 just because it's Memorial Day weekend. You're going to be looking at parking garages around here for the casinos charging people $20-$25 a head. It's crazy. But even still, this is going to be a guaranteed near 3 hours of live professional wrestling entertainment, sponsored by Amanda's Bar None. Yes, that's right. We gone out and we got ourselves a sponsor. It's a bar literally right down the road from the dojo, probably 3/10 of a mile, at most, maybe half mile. I don't know. I'm kind of bad at gauging those distances, but definitely within a mile from the dojo. There will be an official after party at Amanda's Bar None after the Super Show. So that's part of the breaking news that I want to put out there. Yeah, the news bulletin coming on in. So that's the first piece of breaking news that I had to drop here. There is an official sponsor. We'd like to thank everybody at Amanda's Bar None for, taking a chance. Not a lot of people want to do business with professional wrestling companies. A lot of people outside of the wrestling bubble, they may not want to do business with professional wrestling, but it's a local bar. It's a place that we go to after Dojo Wars often, and we're gonna try to do some good business with them. And so we urge everybody, if you're coming out to the Super Show and if you're available and it's not too late and you don't have anything going on and you want to kick off Memorial Day weekend with even more fun with the Dojo Wars roster, come on out to Amanda's Bar None. Unfortunately, I don't have the exact address. I'm going to Google it now as you asked me the next question.
I was just going to Google it myself.
Let's see here. I'm going to Amanda's Bar.
Here we go. Give me 1 second. It's loading for me. The address is 630 Lower Landing Road in Blackwood, New Jersey.
Okay, very good. And they're open today from 11 a.m. to 3 a.m. So even if we do go the full 3 hours, we still got plenty of time to party. Because, what's more fun than professional wrestling going to a bar afterwards? I can't think of nothing.
All right. Well, have you had any more? I should say more new matches announced since I've spoken with you or seen you on Wednesday night at the dojo.
Yeah. Well, before we get into the new ones, let me just kind of run down what's been established.
Sure.
For a while here, and then I'll get into the newer matches because that plays into my breaking news that I have going on here. So I'm just going to pull up my little planning memo here. I do everything on my phone, so I gotta find it. I gotta scroll through, and there's been a lot of. Okay, here we go. So what we already have announced, and that was for Wednesday. Okay, Super Show. There it is. Super Show lineup. All right. So this is what's going on here. Of course, I guess I'll go from the top down. The main event, the first match of the best of 7 series. We're going to see CZW rules in play here between Hungarian hero Laszlo Arpad and Dojo Deej. And this is something that stems back from a few months ago, before Laszlo even went back to Hungary and then came back. The challenge was made. The challenge was accepted purely out of mutual respect, wanting to test each other. Laszlo wants to step up to the plate, and DJ wants to test himself against a younger guy and wants to see what the younger guy, Laszlo Arpad, can do against him. There's no ill will, no animosity. This is, similar vein to Chris Benoit and Booker T in their best of 7 series that they actually had twice. Once in WCW, one in WWE. And, it's going to be based off of the mutual respect. So, I don't expect things to get all crazy violent between these guys, but you never know how things are going to play out. And we do have that stipulation in place. So things might get a little crazy. The spirit of competition gets inside of people's heads, and who knows what we're going to see, but I know that we're going to see a very good professional wrestling match in the main event, no matter how it's presented. So
I completely agree with that. I mean, with CZW rules, you like you said, you never really know, but you know that these guys are just going to beat the living tar out of each other.
Absolutely. They've done it before, and now they're on a bigger stage. Bigger importance for the Dojo Wars program. I know this program means so much to Laszlo. It means a hell of a lot to DJ. And, when you have something like this that means a lot to people, they're willing to go that extra mile they're willing to go that extra mile to win, to put their best foot forward, to put the best effort out as they possibly can, to better themselves and entertain the crowd and just get better in the ring and produce results, successful results, hopefully, for them in the future, both short-term and long-term.
Oh, yeah, that makes absolute sense.
And speaking of which, the next matchup here, a big match, a big opportunity, as I said on Wednesday, if you weren't there at the dojo. I like to consider the dojo a place for opportunity. Similar to, kind of like what SmackDown has been kind of doing. Where Shane says, it's a land of opportunity and whatnot there on SmackDown. We kind of have the same thing, but, we've kind of been doing that since the beginning of Dojo Wars. The Dojo, from Dojo Wars 1 on, it was all about creating an opportunity for young guys to come in and apply their craft, own their skills, get better, what have you. Well, in that same vein, I'm kind of at a blank slate as it pertains to challengers for the Medal of Valor. So Blackwater has to defend against somebody, and I received a message from a young guy who I've known for a while, who's been putting the work in, who was injured, and he was working injured, and I told him, even though you're wrestling other places, I don't want anything bad to happen to you, to aggravate your injury at Dojo Wars, so you let me know when you're good to go. And he shot me a message earlier this week, and that young man is Kid Christian. And that's somebody who's been working really hard, putting a lot of effort out there, been working hurt. Now he's cleared officially. And, I respect his drive, his determination. And you know what? I figured, this is a place for opportunity. Let's see what you got. 2 out of 3 falls for the Medal of Valor is going to be Blackwater defending against Kid Christian.
That's going to be really good because, like you just said about Kid Christian, most people don't know that he was injured and kind of just working through it. So, props to him for his toughness.
Yeah, I don't know if that's anything that he put out himself, and if that's something he didn't really want out there, I apologize. But
No,
I
I
just
seen him posted on his Instagram.
okay, yeah. Well, see, my Instagram's been I can't sign in. I haven't been able to sign in to my Instagram for like 2 or 3 months. I don't know what's
Okay.
going on there. It's weird. Won't even let me reset my password. I don't
That's
know.
strange.
I got to email him. But anyhow, it just speaks to his determination, and it speaks to his desire to continue his quest here in professional wrestling to just get as good as he possibly can. So, like I said, I respect the hell out of that, and I like to give him a good opportunity. And you know what? Like I said, I'm kind of out of challengers. It should be Nate Carter. He scored the pinfall victory over Blackwater a few weeks ago at the Cibernetico. That gives him a shot at the medal, quite honestly. You beat the champ in any scenario by way of pinfall or submission in a non-title situation, you get yourself a shot. That's as good as earning yourself a number one contendership, in my opinion. But rest assured, no matter who's the champion, between Blackwater or Kid Christian, whoever walks out of the Super Show with that medal around their neck will have to face Nate Carter next week at Dojo Wars. That's not breaking news, but it's still news if you weren't there at the Dojo on Wednesday.
Right.
Let's see what else here. The situation between Frankie Picard and Kid Osborne has just been escalating. Week in and week out. It was supposed to be Frankie joining Jimmy Lloyd and Billy Danvers in a six-man tag against Kid Osborne, Mike Dell, and Tahir James. And we're going to be talking more about this matchup a little bit later on. But, wow, Frankie came out. Kid Osborne got in his face. And Frankie, I guess, decided that he wasn't going to wrestle tonight or that night. And he walked away. He walked out of a match. I can't think of any other time that Frankie Picard walked out of a match. Hell, just 2 months ago, that man fought Schlack in the beginning of the show just so he can get to Blackwater in a one-on-one singles non-title match. I mean, I don't know what the hell has gotten into him. But this is a new side of Frankie Picard, quite frankly, a side of Frankie that I don't like. But, we're going to see what happens when this situation comes to a head because they have bad blood between them. Frankie Picard is the one who eliminated Kid Osborne from that four-way eliminator at the anniversary show just about 9 days ago. And there's been various other situations involving them. It was Frankie who got the pin in that wacky mixed up tag team bout the week before the anniversary show. So it's been Frankie who's been getting the upper hand on Kid Osborne. Well, I mean, recently. We'll also remember Kid Osborne eliminated him from the Cibernetico.
Yeah.
Kid Osborne went on to win the Cibernetico. So, I mean, this thing goes back for the entirety of May, quite honestly. And we saw the situation between them outside of the Flyer skate zone, that video that went online. Kid Osborne wanted answers. Why did he get the low blow? Why did it have to come to that? Frankie didn't want to answer him, didn't want to own up to his actions, and he walked away. That was the first time he walked away. Then he walked away just 2 nights ago on Wednesday. So Frankie is going to have a very angry Kid Osborne, a very freshly, newly motivated Kid Osborne, and a new attitude in Kid Osborne. And you know what? I hope Kid Osborne gets what he wants out of this situation because no matter what history there is between myself and Kid Osborne, myself and Frankie Picard, I got to look at the present, what's going on right now. And what's going on right now is I like what Kid Osborne is doing. I like the way he's changed his attitude, and I don't like the way Frankie has changed his. And it's a very interesting matchup here. We haven't seen these sides of these two individuals in a long time. And it's going to be very interesting to see how it plays out when they step inside that squared circle.
I was going to say, it's almost like they flip-flopped their attitudes lately.
Well, I think it's that, Kid Osborne, he had to fight. Mike Dell, his friend, made him fight against him. They had to fight each other to determine who was going to win that Cibernetico. There could only be one winner.
Yeah.
And the Kid Osborne had to fight for it. He earned it. And he saw the reaction that he got from the fans. And you know what? Honestly, that reaction was brewing for a little while. It seemed like people wanted to cheer for him. And he finally fought, and he earned it, and the people gave him the respect, and I think that flipped a switch in Kid Osborne. While at the same time, Frankie Picard, I think that popularity has been, I'm going to be honest with you here, I think Frankie's popularity has been waning a bit. I think that certain things were done to him, such as the way Trooper Audubon turned his back on the dojo and joined up with Blackwater by way of the low blow. And I think Frankie saw that as a way to get somewhere, as a way to gain success. And I think that has clouded his mind. And but perhaps maybe this is the real Frankie Picard. Who knows? We're going to see how it plays out tonight. And the timing here is very, very interesting because it's happening at the same time. These two are going through personality changes at the same time. They've been part of the stalwarts of Dojo Wars for the past year or so, and it's just interesting to see this intersect at this time. So, they have bad blood, they have animosity. Let's settle it the way we know how inside a professional wrestling ring. Speaking of ill will and animosity, I'm going to get away from the Kid Osborne situation here for a minute, but I'm going to involve somebody who was involved in that six-man tag some 2 nights ago. It's Jimmy Lloyd, arm in a sling and all. You can't keep him down. I talked to him. I don't want him to wrestle, but he's wrestled hurt before. He's wrestled very injured before. And he won't take no for an answer. I know even if I tell him he can't wrestle, he will still show up and fight. So, whatever. Jimmy Lloyd is going to team up with a wrench, Connor Claxton, and they're going to settle their differences with the Storm of Entrails. And this is something that goes back, honestly, all the way back to the Mega Event 3. When Dan O'Hare and Schlack, they had won that ladder match against Jimmy Lloyd and Billy Danvers that the preceding Wednesday, and there were 2 contracts out there. One contract was for a shot at the CZW World Tag Team Championship, and the other one was a matchup, a contract where they had to fight each other. It was high risk, high reward tag team ladder match, which is available to watch on youtube.com/Dojo Wars 1. It's the one from December 7th, I believe is the date on that. Dojo Wars 104, I believe, is the one where you can see that ladder match. But they reached up, grabbed that contract, and Dan O'Hare and Schlack had to fight each other. And they... Wow, if you still haven't seen that match, those 2 men destroyed each other, and they had that crowd rocking and rolling.
And they're tag team partners.
Yeah.
So it's like, if they're going to do that to each other, what in God's name are they going to do to someone that they don't like?
Especially Connor Claxton, somebody who came in, hit them both in the head with chairs, ruined that matchup. But, I can see... from Connor's perspective, out of the dojo, historically, the only person to succeed in the world of ultra-violence is Connor Claxton. Now he sees these 2 guys coming up here from the dojo program. Connor Claxton at that point in time was trying to solidify his spot as the guy from the dojo doing ultra-violence. Things have changed and manipulated since then. Connor Claxton has kind of befriended Jimmy Lloyd a bit, coming to his aid, coming to his rescue. But that animosity, still exists in the minds of Dan O'Hare and Schlack. And even though they've kind of turned their demeanor into, they're teaming with Blackwater. They side with him, so I don't really like what side of the fence they're on. But, hey, they're going to come in there. They're going to bring the fight. Connor Claxton's going to bring the fight, and Jimmy Lloyd's going to bring as much fight as his body allows him to. And, this one's going to be relaxed rules because it has to be. Because if we had rules in place, there would be a disqualification within 120 seconds, and nobody would be happy with that. Not me, not the wrestlers, not the fans. Absolutely. It doesn't settle anything. We need to have something settled. These four men are certifiably nuts, out of their minds, and, put them four in the ring together and see what happens. Let's see. All right. And the next big matchup to talk about here, it's a grudge match. At the end, well, you know what? Hold on. This still is a grudge match, sort of what we saw on Wednesday. It was the it was the Dad of the Year, John Rockhold going against Emily. Emily picked up the victory. Good, hard-fought match. And then after the match, John Rockhold, he wasn't happy, and he attacked Emily after the bell. Luckily for Emily, who came to the save, but Jamie Senegal. Jamie Senegal, who was away from the dojo for a while, and when he came back, let me tell you, the fans, the crowd, really put their support behind him. I don't know if I was expecting that all the way because of his affiliation with the fellow twins and Maria Manic and whatnot, but when Jamie Senegal came back, he sort of got a hero's welcome.
Yeah.
And, he's been getting that same reaction every time he's come out to the dojo. And he came to the save to Emily, and he laid out the challenge, and it was accepted. And we're going to see Jamie Senegal against John Rockhold, and this one's going to be contested under Daddy's rules. I don't know what that means. But Jamie Senegal, he came out a few weeks ago, maybe a month and a half ago, looking for Daddy. And, John Rockhold wasn't in the building, but Blackwater was, and Jamie Senegal put up a hell of a fight against Blackwater for that medal. He was unable to procure it, though, but I guess he's still in the quest to find Daddy, and he's going to find Daddy tonight.
That should be
in the middle of the ring.
Very interesting.
Yeah, and it should be very interesting just to see what Daddy's rules are, and then to see how they pertain to professional wrestling, and see how Jamie Senegal reacts to them. It's going to be a fun situation. It's going to be not only is it going to be fun, but there is a personal issue behind this. You look at guys like John Rockhold and Jamie Senegal, and guys who sometimes are on the top of the card, sometimes are on the beginning of the card. But everybody, they can wrestle, they can get it done, and that's sort of the thing with Dojo Wars. If you notice over time, sometimes you're in the opener, sometimes you're in the main event, sometimes you're in between. That's just the way it is. You gotta know how to be in that opening match, the main event match, the middle match. You gotta have that experience. And me as a matchmaker, I know that. You gotta put these guys in different places sometimes. And but no matter what, no matter where they are, they're still gonna put that effort out there, and they're gonna try their damnedest to win that professional wrestling match.
Definitely.
And the last finalized match up till now. I mean, everything's finalized, but I have the new matches ready to go because it's going to. This discussion is going to sort of confirm things, and you'll see what I mean when I get to that. But here's another grudge match. At the end of that six-man main event Wednesday night, Tahir James was the aggressor. on his side of the team. And Mike Dell and Kid Osborne, they've kind of changed their ways, and they were really concerned about getting disqualified. They were really concerned with Tahir James breaking the rules. They were really concerned with doing things the respectable way, following the rules. They don't want to, they've tasted success, Kid Osborne and Mike Dell, and they've tasted it by earning it. And they didn't want to have that risked by Tahir James, somebody who was not around for the Cibernetico, somebody who was not around for this apparent change in attitude. And Tahir James is just doing what he typically does. And Dell and Kit were trying to change his ways during the matchup. Tahir had none of it. And Tahir went on to, after the match, pull Josh Adams out of the ring and ram the small of his back into the ring apron. And that's after hitting Josh Adams right in the middle of his back with that bicycle knee. A bicycle knee that enabled him, granted there was some, low blows before that, but that bicycle knee is what pinned Dojo Deej. So that bicycle knee is very dangerous, and he hit Josh Adams in a very bad place to be hit with a knee in the spine. As if that wasn't bad enough, Tahir, he pulled him out, rammed his back into that ring apron, and Dell and Kit, who showed a sign of respect to their former adversary at the beginning of the match by way of a handshake, they got in Tahir's face and they said, "What the hell are you doing? What is this about? You don't need to do that." And Tahir just hauled off and clocked Kid Osborne right in the mouth. That was shocking. And, yeah, I never would have expected that. But just that quickly, as soon as Mike Dell could kind of process what it was he saw, he jumped on Tahir James. And, those two were sort of the tag team of the unit. For the most part, it was Kid Osborne doing the single stuff, and Dell and Tahir were his friends and doing the tag team stuff together. But as soon as Dell could realize that it was Tahir, his partner, hitting their friend, who he thought was their friend, in the mouth like that, he lost it and he jumped on Tahir, and I don't blame him. And, I signed it, made official, grudge match, those two, Mike Dell and Tahir James, one-on-one. I never thought we would see the day where we would see Mike Dell getting cheered from the crowd against Tahir James getting those. Anytime Tahir James walks through that door, the crowd gets on his case. I thought it was because of the association with Kid Osborne and Mike Dell. And you know what? At one point in time, it very well may have been, but now it's certainly not. Jerk. Yeah, he got his hair cut, and most of the time, he lost that hair match against Anthony Bennett, and most of the time, he would come out, and the fans were trying to make fun of him for it, and he said, "Nope, I look good. Nope." Like, he's not even, in what would typically be an embarrassing situation, he's not even giving the fans the opportunity to clown on him. Yeah, he didn't even bat an eye to it. No, I mean, he's just a jerk, Of course he's going to be out there saying, "Yeah, I look great with this hair, with this haircut. I look better with this hair than anybody else with this haircut who has been wearing it for years." It's just that level of arrogance, that cocky attitude. Yep. It's just, well, whatever. Those two are going to have a score to settle. Mike Dell and Tahir James in a grudge match. And this discussion all leads to what happened last night. If you didn't see it, the video is online. I went live on Facebook for the first time. I never really play with Facebook Live, but I had to address the situation. That injury suffered by Josh Adams at the hands of Tahir James. And I went to his residence. He lives close to me. We both live outside of Atlantic City. And, it's no secret that him and I have known each other for a very long time. Since I started in professional wrestling, he was there. November of 2008 at Force One. almost 9 years ago. I've known him for that long. And, over that period of time, I'm friends with him outside of professional wrestling. Right. And, I try not to let that influence, the matchmaking or anything like that. But, let's call a spade here. Josh Adams has wrestled on more Dojo Wars events than anybody else. Josh Adams has a stellar win-loss record. And he's had that in Force 1, too. Nobody wrestled on more Force 1 events than Josh Adams. Josh Adams cares about, just as much as he cared about the brand of Force 1, he cares that much and more about the brand of Dojo Wars. Right. He wants to go out there and do his best all the time. And but a lot of things has changed in his life recently. He's got a newborn son that he's got to take care of, and he's never been injured in professional wrestling ever. A serious injury. Of course, he's been banged up, maybe a black eye, maybe a busted lip, but nothing serious. And I went to his house. I went to see his condition because I was worried about him, because I know he's the kind of guy that wants to fight, that wants to go on. So I went to his house. I went to talk to him, and in that video, we saw he was wincing just in order to lean up to grab a drink or lean back. He had a grimace on his face, and those aren't things that I see out of him after a couple, a day removed from a wrestling match. Typically, he's able to shield whatever pain he's in, not let it affect his outward appearance. But, I saw something different in him than I've seen in the previous 8.5 years that I've known him. And with the fact that he's got a newborn son, with the fact that, he wants to wrestle as long as he possibly can, I couldn't, under good conscience, and I spoke with Preacher about this as well on my way to his house, just talking about backup plans and whatnot. I couldn't, in good conscience, allow him to wrestle on Wednesday. It could aggravate an injury, and I don't want that long term. And now you might be sitting here thinking, well, what about Jimmy Lloyd? Well, let's face it, Jimmy Lloyd, he's a lot younger than Josh Adams. His body is a lot more resilient. He doesn't have as many years of wear and tear on him. I mean, now don't get me wrong, Jimmy Lloyd has been going out there and busting his ass in hardcore situations, and that's a different level of putting your body through things. Yeah. But this, especially where the injury is, the back, think about how many times somebody gets slammed on their back in a regular wrestling match. And this is a super show. This is where guys want to go out and show out and put on their best moves. And also Jimmy Lloyd, he doesn't, well, to my knowledge, he doesn't have a newborn son that he's got to worry about. You know what I mean? Those are factors that really played into my decision.
Right, and I was going to say, man, with someone that has lower back issues and has a bad back, that shit's no joke.
Right. I don't want to seem like a hypocrite, allowing Jimmy Lloyd to wrestle and not allowing Josh to wrestle. These things are, there's a lot of circumstantial things that are going into my decision. A lot of things that outside of wrestling that have influenced me to make this decision. And it was a hard decision, but one I had to make. So ultimately, Anthony Bennett, a man who was handpicked by Josh Adams to wrestle tonight, is without an opponent. So that left me in a bit of a pickle. So what I had scheduled was a 4-way match, and then last night I got a phone call from DJ. There are two people that were sent to us from Australia, from our friend, our longtime close personal friend, Ryan Eagles, somebody who had a long excursion here in the States in 2011. He's from Australia. He competed in Force 1. He competed in CZW. a friend of CZW, a friend of Dojo Wars. These two individuals, a man and a woman, were sent to the dojo from Ryan. So now I got all these guys that I told, hey, be here. I have a match for you. But now with this situation with Josh Adams being out of the fold, I got to put together the best possible matchup for Anthony Bennett. Put together the best possible mixed tag team match to meet to meet this request here. And it's not like, hey, can you use these guys? It's, hey, they came here from that long way, from somebody reputable. I want to give them the opportunity. It goes back to what I said during the Kid Christian Blackwater match. It's the land of opportunity. They come from a long way, from a reputable guy. I want to give them that shot. So now I got to come up with a mixed tag team scenario. And then I got to put together this four-way because it's something that I want to try, and it might lead into the future. Some sort of concept that I'm trying to work on here. And also, Ace Austin was scheduled to be a part of the event, but he got that call from Sami Callihan, and he's out there doing his thing in the Midwest. So I was left with a lot of wiggle room here. So here's what's going to happen. And to be honest with you, it might not seem professional, and I apologize, but I don't even know. All I know about these two individuals, this man and woman from Australia, is exactly that. They're male and female professional wrestlers from Australia. That's the extent. Like when I say I didn't even have a chance to get what their names were.
You were basically just, hey, this is what's happening.
Well, it was more so, hey, we have these two individuals. Can we make something happen? And I said, yeah, I will.
And that's awesome because it's always neat to see people that, you normally probably won't see in the States.
Exactly. And I knew that was a big opportunity, not only for them, but for us to, get that international flavor in here. We've had people from Australia before, some New Zealand, overseas. I welcome it. So, excuse me here. Let's try not to do that on air. I apologize.
No, you're fine, dude.
So yeah, but it also put me in this predicament because I had to find an opponent for Anthony Bennett. I had to make sure that four-way was fixed, and now I have a mixed tag team that I had to come up with. So I'm still scrambling to put that particular matchup together. I'm looking for the right two opponents for them, but they will be in tag team action. I know this is very vague, but it was just added literally, what time is it?
Almost
10:47, almost 11. I got the phone call almost 11 hours ago at midnight talking about these two individuals. So this is very at the 11th hour, as they say.
On the fly.
On the fly, yes. And now that brings me to the four-way match that's going to happen here. So in the way that I had to move things around, Ace Austin was originally scheduled to be in there. He's no longer able to. So now what I'm looking at here is this is a weird combination of folks. But I think it's going to be a fun combination of folks. And it certainly seems like all four of these guys are liked by the Dojo Wars crowd. So it's going to be fun to see how this match plays out. Right. We have Jeff Bravo. We have Tulpa. We have Ryan Zane. And we have Billy Danvers in a four-way.
Oh, wow. That is a big... I don't want to use the word cluster, but that's such a different personality of people.
Right. It's an odd combination.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you why I went with that. Normally, I would have selected one of those four individuals to go against Anthony Bennett to give them to give one of them a match against somebody who has done a couple of big things in this business, Cruiserweight Classic, Anthony Bennett. But
I guess the fancy word you would say would be a quote-unquote name.
To a degree. But last night I posted a status where I said I needed to go back to the drawing board, find an opponent for Anthony Bennett, and somebody was tagged in that status in the comments, and then reached out to me. I reached out to him actually this morning, and I wanted to see if he was available, and he is. So it's official. And it's actually going to be giving an opportunity to Anthony Bennett, as far as I'm concerned, because stepping in the ring against Anthony Bennett tonight at the Super Show on literally less than 12 hours notice, former Combat Zone Wrestling World Heavyweight Champion, Pro Wrestling Maniac, Joe Gacy.
Oh, wow. That'll be fantastic.
Yeah, and I was just able to finalize it right when we got on the air here. That's why I said I had breaking news. That is the breaking news. Joe Gacy will be at the first Super Show, and he will go one-on-one with Anthony Bennett.
Very exciting.
So, I mean, it's, for a concept that I initially wanted to have, just about like 6 or 7 matches, because I want to make sure, that these matches have time to breathe and everything like that. I don't want anything to get lost in the shuffle. But, these opportunities came up, and I wanted to make sure everybody gets their time in the sun, time to shine, I guess.
Yeah, I know.
Everybody gets that time to do what they do. And we got a 9-match card with, matches that were just made official right here and now at this hour for $10. The first ever Super Show, 110 Harmon Drive, Blackwood, New Jersey, Suite 304. We're going to get started right around, let's not sugarcoat things anymore. We typically get started around 8:05. And, there's a reasoning behind that. We're on Turner time,
You've been hanging around the Superstation.
Hell yeah. Let me not sugarcoat things. I'm a big mark for WCW. Big mark for how they started their shows at 8:05, 6:05 on TBS, the mothership, if you will. Let's do it. 8:05 estimated bell time. I hope that dojo is filled up with all kinds of people. We're going to put on a good show. I know it. The roster's excited. I'm excited. Preacher's excited. Everybody's excited. And, hey, afterwards, Amanda's Bar None. 630 Lower Landing Road. Is that what it was called?
I believe so. Let me double check. What's the name of the place again?
Yeah, Amanda's Bar None. 630 Lower Landing Road, Blackwood. They're open till 3. They're the official sponsor of the Super Show. Let's go out and let's, they're supporting us, so let's support them. Let's show them that this is a viable business deal, that they'll make their money back, and we'll continue to have this relationship, because it's good to do business with the local businesses where you're doing your wrestling at. I've always believed in that.
Absolutely.
It's a community coming together. Granted, some people might not think that pro wrestling and going to the bar is a great thing for the community. Well, guess what? It's all in the name of fun. It's all in the name of entertainment.
And as long as you're safe and not hurting anyone, then that's all that matters.
Exactly. Be safe, be responsible, have fun. Take this time to hang out with some of your Dojo Wars freaking favorite roster guys. We're all going to be out there for as long as we can be, and hey, let's do it.
That sounds like a lot of fun, Emil. Now, for people that want to reach you for whatever reason it may be on social media, how can they contact you?
Find me on Twitter at the MLJ. I'm also the same thing on Instagram. I will see the notification, but I won't be able to see the picture because I can't log in. Gotta love how that works. But all kidding aside, it's at the MLJ, TheEmiljay on Twitter. Also, the same thing on Facebook, and make sure you follow Dojo Wars on Twitter at CZW Dojo Wars, and subscribe to our YouTube. I'm going to be getting up to date very quickly after the Super Show. I just really want to get the Super Show done. Not like, oh, I want to get it out of the way. No, I've been concentrating a whole lot on making sure this Super Show is as good as possible. And now, after the Super Show is done and in the books, I'll have